Now, when we spoke about yesterday, we just gave an introductory situation about what it is that we are going to do. So most of the people were not there yesterday. So I'm just going to give another sort of a little snippet of what we are talking about. There's no criticism involved in the sense of personalities here. We are talking about what history has focused on and what history has decided to hide as far as the credibility of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and his holy progeny are concerned. And why did that happen is what we are questioning. And why have people remained quiet? When I say people, mainly the focus is on why have scholars remained quiet? Why has nobody spoken up? And nowadays we see with the explosion of the internet and all, people find things, people find lectures, people find snippets of information which makes them question. And my aim is to reinforce and speed up the questioning process. So it's not just for you all, it is for you all to take it out with you and speak with your friends who do not understand the kind of focus that we have on Ali Muhammad alayhi salam. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. So when I recite this ayat in which it says وَعَلَى تَلْبِسُ الْحَقَّ بِالْبَاطِلِ, the word haqq means the truth. That is what haqq means. In Urdu, sometimes haqq can mean that what is right. Well, the right is because that is the truth. But in Arabic, haqq means the truth. And the haqq, when we say, we are referring to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He is called the haqq. So when we talk about the haqq, who is this haqq that we are referring to? Right? And Rasulullah's hadith is very clear on this. Remember, in the Quran, it is said by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, nobody else but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that when Rasulullah speaks, it's nothing but he has been motivated by a wahi. What is a wahi? Wahi means message is coming from Allah to speak. Right? It might be a part of the Quran, it might not be the part of the Quran. So Rasulullah only spoke when he was indicated by Allah to speak. That's when he spoke. So Rasulullah said, Haqqun ma'al Ali, Aliyun ma'al haqq. Right? Everybody knows that? What does that mean though? It means that Ali is with the truth and the truth is with Ali. Truth and Ali are interchangeable. Haqq and Ali alayhi salam are interchangeable as far as quality is concerned. So Ali is with the truth and the truth is with Ali. But the next part of the hadith is very, very crucial. So I want you all to pay attention to it. He says that Allah turn the truth to where Ali is going. He didn't say turn Ali towards the truth. So turn the truth towards where Ali is going. Now, we all know that there are certain qualities that we would like to have in human beings, like being truthful, being generous, being brave, being upright, having integrity, all these qualities. And human beings aspire to those qualities, right? So if Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam had mentioned that, if turn Ali towards the truth, turn Ali towards the truth, it would have been grammatically a very correct statement. We want all people to turn towards the truth. But when it comes to the matter of Ali alayhi salam, is that okay with you? Yeah. When it comes to the matter of Ali alayhi salam, then he said, turn the truth towards Ali. Because the truth is something that as long as it follows Ali alayhi salam, it is the truth. But if it goes ahead of Ali, it is no more the truth. It becomes batil, it becomes falsehood. That's how strong Imam Ali alayhi salam is, right? So Ali alayhi salam is the Imam, the generic Imam, the mutlaq Imam, the full Imam, the complete Imam. So things have to follow him. Anything that goes ahead of the Imam is no more the truth. That is what it is. So Rasulullah says that Allah turned the truth towards Ali. And if the truth remains behind Ali, that is the truth. If the truth tries to go ahead of Ali alayhi salam, that truth is no more the truth. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. Nare Haydari. Yeah. Now, let's say, give you a situation, right? You're traveling from somewhere else to, let's say, coming to from abroad to London for the first time. You don't know anybody in London, right? And you are coming, let's say, from India or Pakistan or somewhere in the Middle East, or you're coming for a job here, looking for a job here. You come, but as you are at the airport departing, one of your friends rushes in and hands you a little slip of paper saying, this is my friend's name with his phone number. Go and contact him. Maybe he might be able to help you. Now, if I have something like that, when a place where I'm going where I don't know anybody, I'll keep that paper very carefully with me. In my wallet, in my bag, wherever I want to keep it, I keep it there so that, when I get there, maybe he will help me. We don't even know if that number still exists, that number still works. Does that person have that number? Whether the number is going to get connected or not. But as long as we don't reach London and try it, we'll keep that number. So that just in case he can help me. So we are, basically taking the support of something we don't even know that is going to help us or not. Now, if we take the support of the 14 Masumeen who are giving us reassurance that we will help you on Akhirat, then why shouldn't we keep that close to our heart? Right? That is what it is all about, being close to Ali alayhi salam, being close to the Haqq. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. All of you. Now, when you have, there are lots of places where you can talk about Haqq. For example, anybody dies in our community, we have a duty to give them a respectful burial, right? It is a duty of Muslims to organize a burial, even if you don't know that person. It is a duty to do the burial. For example, in COVID times, it was very, very scary to do a burial because nobody wanted to go close to that body because the infection might pass on to them. Somebody died of COVID. You remember all that time? And people would look for Maulvis like me who will come and do the janazah, because Maulvis didn't want to go close to the janazah anymore. Because what if they got infection? So, but it was still a duty for us to go and do it. At the end of the day, we all are going to die. Whether it's COVID or anything else, it's just an excuse, right? All of us are going to die. And inshallah, when we die, we go to a better place. That's all our hope and prayers. And that's why we live in this world, to do good. If we do good, we're not scared of dying. But if we have a problem in our characters, then we are going to be scared. So at the end of the day, when somebody dies, that person's wealth or status or something is all till the grave. Till the grave. If he has a lot of money, then we very fancy burial with lots of nice flowers and whatever arrangements are there for funerals and all that. Like the Queen's funeral is going to happen next Monday, apparently, right? And that funeral is going to be some massive thing because she has a lot of money. But she had a lot of money. She doesn't have anything anymore. She's still going to go into the same grave, 6 foot under the ground. All of us are going to go there. But till the grave, they'll have all this fanfare and all that. And relatives will come, friends will come, they will shed a tear, they will cry, but they leave the person who is passed on at the grave. Nobody goes on beyond that. But we have been told that Ali alayhi salam visits a mu'min to help. Ali alayhi salam visits someone. Okay, what do we do when we are the grave, when we are putting a dead body of a very dear one into a grave? We also do certain things. We gently shake the shoulder and remind them of certain things before we put them under the, which is called talqeen. Have you heard of that term, talqeen? Which is basically means reminders. What do we remind them of? We remind them of Allah, Rasul, the Deen, the Quran, the Imams, and all that. And we say, what do we say? Mawta haqqun, qabra haqqun, sirat haqqun, mizan haqqun. What are these? These are nothing but the addresses of Imam Ali alayhi salam. We will find them. Yes, sir. Okay, very good. Very good. Thank you. Thank you. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. So we say all these things, they are nothing but the address of Imam Ali alayhi salam, where he will be there. You will say, how come I'm saying that? What's the address? There's no address. Because go back to the hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He said, Ali ma'al haq wa haqqun ma'al Ali. So wherever haq is, Ali is there. So if qabr is haq, then Ali is there. When mizan is haq, then Ali is there. When sirat is haq, then Ali is there. So now it becomes a bit more easy for the mu'min. Mu'min is not somebody who can do good nara haidari, who can recite very good ziyarat or whatever. It is a very important part of it, but we have to have good character to be called a mu'min. We need to follow the traits of character of those people, how they pray, praying, how they give charity. You know, all these things have to come in, how they've treated their family members, brothers and sisters, their wives, their parents, how they work, were they cheating at work. All these things will come into play to become a mu'min. So we have to be of good character. And that is when we can be assured that Imam Ali alayhi salam is going to come and help us in the grave, when there is nobody, to help us. All our loved ones have gone. But the question arises, I said to you that, we shake them and do talqeen. And we say, the terms we use is isma ifham. Isma ifham. 3 times we say this. And then we say his name or her name. O XYZ, son of ABC. Now what you're saying is, isma means listen. Ifham means understand. Listen, understand. Listen, understand. Listen, understand. We say 3 times to a dead person. What is he or she going to listen and understand? But we are saying it because we expect something is going to happen and they will listen and understand even there. Now, how will they do that? That's a different topic altogether. We can talk about it later on, but not as part of the Majlis. However, so this is going to happen, and when we talk about it, if a normal person, a general person, can listen and understand, then why can't we, when we say Ya Ali, why can't Ali, who is a representative of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, listen to us and understand what we're asking? So what's the big deal that people make out? You guys say Ya Ali, Ya Ali, Ya Ali, mother. How is he going to come and help you? They don't have the understanding, because these are the people of the Zahir. Zahir means the apparent. What is available to see or experience from the 5 senses, that's all they understand. They are the people of the apparent. But there is also the hidden aspect, which is behind the apparent. If you go deeper, then you understand. Then you understand how he can listen to us and how he can understand what we are saying and help us as well. At the same time, it is not coming from him himself. Allah has given him the quwwah, as we say, the strength or the possibility to be able to do that. Right? You understand? It doesn't come from him on his own. It is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who has given him that ability to be able to do that, because he is Allah's representative. We call him Hujjat Allah, right? We call our Imams Hujjat Allah because they are the proofs of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that's why they are capable of doing it. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. But questioning will happen under the grave. Questioning will happen. So it can be a very scary experience when you don't have anybody there to help you out, because everybody is gone now. From the grave, once you've gone inside, then the questioning of the angels are going to come and questions are going to be asked. But when we see that Imam Ali alayhi salam is there, then we are relieved. It can be a scary experience again for the one who does not know who this Imam Ali alayhi salam is, who has not known the Imam right through his life in this world. How can he understand who the Imam is? If I know that when I'm going to die, I'm going to meet Imam Ali alayhi salam, and hopefully, inshallah, he will help me in the questioning. He will give me answers if I am shaking with not knowing the answer due to my own mistakes. He will help me to answer. There's a very, very nice poetic couplet in Urdu. Do I have permission to speak 2 lines in Urdu? Please. It says, डर लग रहा था हमें कब्र में सवालों से, लेकिन Ali आ गए तो फरिश्ते डर गए गुफ्तगू से. So what it means is that, I was scared in the grave that, I'll be questioned and whether I'll know the answers or not. But when I saw that Imam Ali alayhi salam is there, then the angels who were going to question me, they got scared of asking questions. Not literally, but it's a poetic way of saying that when Imam Ali alayhi salam is there, everything is sorted out. Inshallah ta'ala. But this is a moment. But if it's a non-moment, a person who does not believe in the Imam of Imam Ali alayhi salam, then that person has no clue who's coming, who's going. And it'll be a scary experience to see Imam Ali over there at that time. I don't know what's going to happen to Regina Elizabeth II. We don't know. We don't know. Anybody have any clue? Because nobody told us what happens. Because nobody came back to tell us. It is said, our ulama say, that the taking of the soul when a person dies is like putting a very fine velvet cloth on a thorny bush, and you pull the cloth out and it gets torn to shreds. That's how difficult it is to get the soul out of the body. But we take solace from the Quran that for the moment this is not going to happen. And people say, how can you talk like that? How do you know? We go into the Quran and we see that when Hazrat Yusuf alayhi salam, the Prophet of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he was known as a very beautiful person, right? His beauty of Hazrat Yusuf alayhi salam is always mentioned. So when he was passing by the street, the women who were chopping the onions in the kitchens were looking at him from the windows. When they saw him, they were so enchanted by the beauty of Yusuf alayhi salam that they chopped off their fingers as well and they didn't feel the pain at all. So the moment when he sees the beauty of Imam Ali alayhi salam in the grave, he will find ease at the time of death as well. Because he will be enchanted, or she will be enchanted by the beauty of Imam Ali alayhi salam. Salawatullah Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. So we say that qabr haqqun. So I'm talking about the qabr now, that Imam Ali alayhi salam is going to come and help us to get the answers in a correct manner. Now let's talk about when we say al-mizan al-haqqun. What is a mizan? Anybody know what a mizan is? Scales, when you weigh something, that's a scale. You have the one side you put the weight, and one side you put the sugar. Let's say you're buying sugar, you say 1 kg sugar. So on one side you put the 1 kg weight, and the other side you put the amount of sugar, and when they balance, then you buy that amount, right? So that is a scale. The mizan is actually a scale. In Arabic, a scale is called mizan. So mizan al-haqqun, which means what? Imam Ali alayhi salam is going to be at the scales as well when our deeds are being measured. How many good deeds and how many bad deeds? How many good deeds and how many bad deeds? Very, very difficult situation over there. Let's say I lived a life, I have 100,000 good deeds. MashaAllah, 100,000 good deeds. But I have 105,000 bad deeds. Oh my God. Now there's two options. Either I get punished and go to hell for my sins, which are extra, more than my good deeds. Or I hope that my association with my servitude to Imam Ali alayhi salam will come to my help there. Because Imam Ali alayhi salam is there. So the angel is going to say, Ya Ali, Mawla, he has got 105,000 bad deeds, which is 5,000 more than his good deeds. So he has to be punished. Mawla says, does he? Okay, give 5,000 from me to him. Wow, all balanced now. Now we can go to Jannah, inshallah. But then people are asking, how can you talk like this? Ali is going to give it to you. Where's Ali getting it from? Just calm down. No need to get emotional about it, right? Let's talk about the Sharia, how we do things. When somebody in our family dies, some of our friends die, do we not read the Quran on their behalf so that they get the sabab? Do we not? Do we do that? Do we not do Majlis and feed people in their name so they get the sabab? When somebody has lots of prayers be left behind, can we not ask somebody to pray on their behalf so that they get the sabab, they don't get the punishment? All this, if we can do it, a normal moment, can do it for another moment and the moment will get the thawab. Why can't Amir al-Mu'mineen give his own good deeds to somebody, some other moment? I know, it's simple logic, right? Amir al-Mu'mineen, he's the leader of all Mu'mineen. So why can't he give it? And when he says give it, there is no angel who's going to say, ask why. Why do you? Nobody's going to ask. He's Amir al-Mu'mineen. He's the Hujjat of Allah. It's the day of judgment. He's the one who decides who goes to Jannah and who goes to Jahannam. He's called Al-Qaseem al-Nar wa Jannah. Qaseem, which is my surname, is the one who divides. Who is going to go here, who is going to go there. So now you see, when we say Al-Mizan al-Haqqun, this is another address for Imam Ali where he will be found. As-Sirat al-Haqqun. Sirat, what is a Sirat? Sirat is the bridge on which you have to pass through, on which you have to walk, so that you can get to Jannah. And that bridge is said to be finer than your hair, sharper than a blade, and hotter than the sand in a desert. How are you going to walk through that? If Imam Ali alayhi salam will be there, he's going to say, Hada li, Hada lak. What does that mean? Hada li, he is mine. Send him to Jannah. Hada lak, he is yours, you take him. Jannah, you take him. That's what is going to happen. When Imam Ali alayhi salam says Hada li, that means you will walk through quickly. Now, this is a metaphorical understanding of the Sirat, the bridge, the Pul Sirat, as we say, the bridge of Sirat. The actual, some ulama write that the actual Sirat is this world. Why? Because in this world, if we have lived a good life, because go straight a minute, we can go on the wrong side if we feel like, or we can go on the right side if we feel like. Choosing is important. It's a matter of choice. It doesn't matter which family you grew up in, whether you grew up in Shia family, Sunni family, Wahhabi family, Christian family, atheist family, doesn't matter. But what choices you made. If you have the Iman and you made the right choices, then you live a decent, good life in this world. Okay? And that is also considered a sirat, because we can go astray in this world. Being on the straight and narrow in this world makes us go on the straight away on across the bridge of Sirat, inshallah. And Imam Ali alayhi salam will be saying over there, oh, this is my guy, Had Ali, send him to Jannah. No questions asked over there, and you all go into Jannah. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. I don't hear voices. Can we have a loud salawat from everybody? Okay, before I go ahead, I would like to ask these young people who are there, sitting there, very young people. Do you guys use pencil and rubbers in your school? You do? Obviously? Who said obviously? You said obviously. Do you have a pencil which has a rubber attached to the back?
Yeah.
You do?
I did.
Oh, good. Because we used to have it. And it was a fancy thing to have in my time. Not many people had that. A salwar is like a pencil with a rubber attached to the back. Take this very, very, if you take nothing from this majlis, take this. A salawat on Rasulullah and his progeny is like a pencil which is attached with a rubber. What it does is at the same time it writes good deeds and at the same time it's removing bad deeds. Because to do good deeds, we have to do good, right? We have to do good. And to remove our bad deeds, we say istighfar, astaghfirullah rabbi wa atubu alayhi. We repent for our sins and all that, right? But salawat on Rasulullah and his progeny is like doing two things at one time. So it's not just a pencil, it's not just a rubber. It's a pencil and rubber at the same time. Doing the good and removing the bad. So when somebody says recite a loud salawat, you are doing yourself a favor by reciting that salawat. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. So you see, everywhere there is Ali Ali. And they say to us, you always do Ali Ali. What else is there to do apart from Ali Ali? Is that right? Have I come to a logical conclusion yet or not? Why do we say Ya Ali, Ya Ali, Ya Ali, Nara Haidari? Why? It reinvigorates our Iman. It associates us with Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam. That is only the beginning. When you associate with somebody, you got to follow their path now. That is the challenge. And when we have to take up that challenge, because we are born in families which say, Ya Ali all the time. And we know that Ali alayhi salam is Amir al-Mu'mineen, our leader, and we follow him. So we have to be the ones who follow his path, which is the important bit. Talking the talk is easy, but walking the talk is the challenge. Can you guys do it? Inshallah, we all can try to do it. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
So, the haqq of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and his progeny, the holy progeny, the Imam alayhi salam, has been hidden by history. It is a problem. It is hidden by history. And people have not been told the full truth. Like I said in the first ayah when I recited, do not mix the truth with falsehood and do not hide the truth when you know. This is the Quranic verse saying. But history, the scholars have not spoken about the greatness of Rasulullah and his holy progeny. And that is a problem because generations down the line, Muslims do not even know. And they start questioning, why are you doing that? Why are you doing this? It's just because you are not used to it doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. It means that you do not know, you can find it out and ask questions who is doing what, instead of criticizing them and banishing them away. You know, you say to them, how are you getting to this point? Can you tell me? I want to learn as well. And then you answer their questions in history. So this is why we do it, this is what we know. And so where do you find in the books? And you tell them the books. If you study, you tell them the books. If you don't study, you don't tell them the books. And this has been the constant agenda of the rulers of Muslims to keep the entire community away from knowledge. You are taught what the Moulana is going to teach you in the madrasa. You're not told by the Moulana, go and read this history book, go and read this hadith book, go and read this interpretation or the tafsir by this, big scholar. It is not. Whatever he says goes in the madrasa. And there's a one book that is read and one book that is taught, and that's how you learn. And that's why everybody is having the same idea. And if there's anything different that comes across, it's a, oh, how come you do this? This is an innovation, abidah. No, this is not, might not be abidah. If you find out from your books where it is, then you'll find out the truth. And it is happening slowly by slowly. And I just want to put some impetus into that search from through you guys, through the internet, when this Majlis goes online, where people see it and read it and understand that why are these people different? Let them ask the question to you guys, and you guys reinforce yourself with knowledge so that you can answer questions in school, in college, at work, wherever you go. Okay? Salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. So the rightful due of Ali Muhammad has not been given to them. It has been hidden. It has not been spoken about. The thing is, history has all the details. It's not hidden from the people if they want to. But, at the time of Bani Umayyah and Bani Abbas and all that, people were scared of their lives. That if you spoke something, then which was against what the establishment wanted or the rulers wanted, then you'll get into trouble. You'll get into trouble and, your life might be at risk and your property might be at risk, your family members might be at risk. But, okay, fine. Not everybody does have the strength of character or the bravery to be able to speak the truth when a sword is being pointed at them or a bullet is being aimed at them. But at least in normal peace times, at least speak the truth then. Now nobody's pointing guns or holding swords against anybody. People can speak whatever they want to speak. So let's get people informed and let them speak. If they don't speak, then it will remain ummah which is ignorant. And we all are guilty of that. The difference with people is that we have intellect and we have to learn. We have the capability to learn more and more and more. There's no limit to that. But if we engage ourselves in watching TV shows, playing games only, not sure that you shouldn't play games, then what you're doing is you're reducing the time that is available to you to focus on something that will help you grow as a human being. The only difference that between human beings and animals is the fact that we can learn. and we need to learn a lot. Important thing as well is that we need to learn things which will help us. Which will help us. There's no point in knowing the date of birth of so and so sports star or so and so politician or so and so film star because it's not going to help us. What general knowledge? What kind of general knowledge is that? How is that going to help? You need to know how things work. You need to know how to change the light bulb, for example. If something fuses in the house, how can you rectify it? These things, you have to be good with your hands. You have to know how physics works, how the universe was created, all that stuff. Those things are big things for all youngsters and elders as well, because learning never stops, right? Learning never stops. For you as well, for me as well, everybody has to learn. It's not just for in school. Have you heard of a philosopher and writer by the name of Mark Twain? Anybody? Nobody heard of Mark Twain? You've heard of Mark Twain. He was a novelist and he was a story writer, American. And you should read his books. It's very interesting, very entertaining as well. Sometimes, when you have free time, better, please, you're going to hurt somebody. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. So, you know what he said? He said, I never let school get in the way of my education. But you say, hang on, you go to school to educate yourself, right? But school education is one kind of an education. But he was a philosopher. He used to think, on the side. He was thinking outside the box, as we say. So when you think outside the box, you call a troublemaker because you have a different idea of certain things. So he said that I never let school come in the way of my education. So he always learned. What I'm trying to say is that we are always learning in different ways, not just at school, at home as well. You watch TV, you learn something from TV as well. Whether it is good or bad, but you're still learning. And that can be awkward. If it is something that is no good to you, then it's be a waste of time. In fact, not just a waste of time, this has a negative impact on us. When it has a negative impact on us, that means we are losing. It's not just a waste of time, we are losing them. So let's not do that. Let's encourage ourselves and each other to learn things which will help us in the world and in the hereafter. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. So, Al Rasul's rights were deprived, rights were usurped. Their due was not given to them, whether it was respect, whether it was their positions in society, whether it was a position in the masjid, it was not given to them. It was usurped. Imam Hassan alayhi salam was there, and the son of Abu Sufyan took away the rulership. Imam Hussaini alayhi salam is there, and people are following Yazid in the army. You see how many people were there in the army of Yazid compared to Imam Hussein's caravan? 10,000, 20,000, 30,000. So many people were there. And these were not just any person who was just uneducated. There were Hafiz al-Quran there as well. There were Hajis there as well. There were people who were the sons of the Sahaba of Rasulullah who were there. All kinds of what you would consider important people who have done good deeds of Hajj and, of learning the Quran by heart. All kinds of people were there. And yet they were against the Hujjat of Allah. Why did that happen? Why has history not exposed all these things? Why were people fighting the Hujjat of Allah when they knew, when many of them had seen him in the arms of Rasulullah? When many of them had seen him when he was on the back of Rasulullah, when Rasulullah was in sajda. Yet they were not aware of the rights and the reality of the Imam of the time. This is a situation that can arise to any of us. Remember, I said there were Hafiz al-Quran, there were Hajis, there were people who were fasting, doing the zakat, all that stuff. So it can happen to any of us. If the Hujjat Allah comes now, are we going to be in his side or not? Is the question we have to ask ourselves. People who are young now, they have a lot of opportunity to be good. Who are older, not but older, we have had good and we have had bad. So we have to make a choice because now we are decision makers about our life and our afterlife. And it is for us to pay attention so that we lead in such a manner that whoever we want to follow us are following the right things. how we avoid things which are, extracurricular in such a manner that it doesn't help us. Extracurricular activities are good to relax and to rest. But if it becomes like a habit that that's what you do most of the time when you have time when you're not in school, then it is not something very conducive to growth of a human being, growth of the soul. It's not something conducive. So we have to pay focus because, like I mentioned earlier, nobody's going to go beyond the grave to help us. If we live a life which is conducive to afterlife, a good afterlife, then we don't have to worry. Imam Amirul Mu'minin Islam is going to come and take care of us if we are in a situation of difficulty, right? But if we have not done our due diligence, then we will struggle because we are beggars or dependent on his shafaat. But he is under no duress or obligation to do shafaat, right? He is under no obligation to do shafaat. If we are not his real followers, then we will struggle. And we have to become real followers, not just the ones who say by word, Ya Ali Madad. But we have to be in a situation when we call Ya Ali Madad, then the Madad comes, Amir al-Mu'min responds, because he is seeing that this is one of us, I need to help him. But if we are not one of him, then why should he come in our time of need? Right? Right? If you don't follow the teacher is telling you, and then you, at the time of the exam, you say, my exam was about, please give me numbers so that I can pass. Why should the teacher give you numbers that time? Why should the teacher give you marks? You haven't done your through study right through the year. And at the time of the exam, you're saying, no, I need some marks, I will pass, otherwise I'll fail. Well, the teacher will say, sorry, the whole year you wasted time doing this, that, and the other, not paying attention in class or not coming to class regularly. So now you're in the time of need. I will not come to your help now. The time is gone. Our time is now. And it is for us to pay attention to our own lives in such a manner that we carry on doing the good, inshallah ta'ala. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Why the volume is so low? It's not yet 10 o'clock, isn't it? So it's time for you to watch your TV shows. Still not, this is the weekend. Now, today, I will stop my Fazail and the main lecture now, but today is an important day because the death of the daughter of Imam Hussain al-Islam. Did you all know that? Sakina bint Hussain died in the dungeons of Damascus today. Imam Hussain al-Islam is quoted as saying, I love the house in which there is Sakina and Rabab, Rabab being his wife. Sakina used to give him sukoon, means peace of heart and mind. She used to sleep on Imam's chest. And she had a habit of sleeping on Imam's chest. Imam loved that. When Imam Hussain al-Islam was on the way to Kufa and he was coming at a certain point, he was notified or he understood that his cousin Muslim ibn Aqil has been killed in Kufa. And his body has been, mutilated and thrown from the top of the fort. And his body was hung on the town square for many, many days. And when Imam heard the news, he was very saddened because Muslim's daughter, was his niece as well, was in the same caravan as Imam Hussain al-Islam. And Imam was very saddened because, of course, it was his cousin brother who was killed, and also saddened for the little child who was with her mother there. So he asked for some earrings to be brought by his sister Zainab Salamullah so that he could put on his niece's ears and console her. And Imam said to his niece, my dear child, do not think of yourself as an orphan. I will be your father from now on. He was so considerate of children, Imam Hussain al-Islam. And his own daughter, Sakina, was watching, that when somebody's father dies, you put the hand on the child's head, you put earrings on their ears. You be nice to them, you be soft with them, you console them. This is what Sakina saw. But on the 10th of Muharram, and everybody was killed, and she had become yatim. She had become an orphan. The tents were burned, she saw. The, the tents were burned, and people were chasing them for their possessions. Sakina's earrings were snatched from her ears so badly that her ears bled. And she was crying, and she was screaming towards Najaf, Ya Ali, see what they have done to us. They have burnt our tents. Look, my ears are bleeding. Oh, Uncle Abbas, where are you? My ears are bleeding. Sakina was tormented so much from there on. She was put on a camel which had no saddle. I don't know if you've sat on a camel with no saddle, because a saddle is there which makes you sit on an animal comfortably. I have sat on a camel which had no saddle. It was only for 200 meters on a holiday. And I tell you what, I was wearing thick jeans and I felt like jumping off from the camel because the camel's hairs are so sharp, they're like needles and they go inside your body through your thick jeans as well. Can you imagine this little girl was made to sit on a camel's back without any saddle from Karbala to Kufa, and from Kufa to Damascus, all the way. Her body was bleeding all over inside. She was so little, she used to fall over from the camel. And they tied her around on the camel. The entire body was bleeding. Her clothes, her dress was stuck to her body because the blood was coming out and the clothes were stuck to the body. In the dungeons, she used to wonder, when are we going to go home, oh Auntie Zainab? When are we going to go home? All the time, this refrain from Sakina. She used to see the birds in the evening because it was an open air prison. The prison, the sharp sunshine in the daytime and the strong cold in the night. No roof on the dungeon. And she used to see the bird come there in the evening and she would ask her Auntie Zainab, where are these birds coming from? And Bibi Zainab would say, my dear child, they're coming home after a day of work. And she would say, when are we going to go home? And one night when she was desperate for her father, and she was asking and wanting to see her father, Yazid was disturbed by the screams of crying from Sakina. And he ordered his courtiers to ask, what's going on over there? Why is the child screaming? And they said that she wants to see her father. And Yazid ordered, go and take the head of Hussein to the daughter and give her the head so that she can be one. And when she saw the head of Imam Hussein alayhi salam, she was so desperate and she fell down unconscious. And Bibi Zainab was trying to console her, but Imam Sajjad alayhi salam said, Auntie Zainab, leave my sister alone. She has left the world now. And then when the lady came to do ghusl to the little child for burial, that lady who was going to give the ghusl was concerned. And she asked Lady Zainab, oh dear lady, was this child sick? Because I cannot take her clothes off to give her ghusl. And Lady Zainab said, no, my child is not sick. It is only because of the difficult journey that she's had and the whole body is bleeding and the clothes are stuck to her skin. Imam Sajjad alayhi salam said, don't need to take off the clothes of my sister, just do the ghusl with the clothes on. And they buried Sakina over there in Damascus in that prison. May Allah accept this little ibadah that we have done in remembrance of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and his holy progeny. May Allah give us the tawfiq to help us follow their path that they have shown us. The path might be challenging in this world, but as I mentioned, it is like a sarat. If we follow this sarat in the right way on sarat al-mustaqim, we will end up in a good place in the hereafter, inshallah ta'ala. For all of us, ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى محمد.
Syed.
الغريب الغريب الحسين حسين الشهيد الشهيد الحسين حسين الغريب الغريب الحسين حسين الشهيد حسين الغريب الغريب الحسين حسين الشهيد الشهيد الحسين Salams on the head of Mawla Hussain. Salams on the lips of my blessed Hussain. For days in the desert, your body remained. For thousands of hours, your shroud they became. And on Arbaeen where the aliens would pray, the grief and the mourning for you, Ya Hussain. Hussain al-Gharib al-Gharib al-Hussain Hussain al-Shaheed al-Shaheed al-Hussain الغريب الغريب الحسين حسين الشهيد الشهيد الحسين. The screams of the children thirsty for water, the duty was sent to Abbas, our Savior. The Lion of God could be seen riding faster to reach a heart and to please the King. Could he pour from the horse with no hand? The flag of Islam lay there on the sand. Hussain al-Gharib al-Gharib al-Hussain Hussain al-Shaheed al-Shaheed al-Hussain Hussain al-Gharib al-Gharib al-Hussain Hussain al-Shaheed al-Shaheed al-Hussain. A lady was seen peering out from the tent, a cry from the heavens that Zahra presents. Oh Shimmer, why on his chest the sword stained in blood was Hussein's final test? Hussein, to your mother, it's time to ascend. Your trials in Karbala have come to an end. Hussein al-Gharib al-Gharib al-Hussein Hussein al-Shaheed al-Shaheed al-Hussein.
صلوا على محمد وآل محمد.
بسم الله. السلام عليك يا أبا عبد الله. السلام عليك يا رسول الله. السلام عليك يا ابن أمير المؤمنين. السلام عليك يا ابن فاطمة الزهراء سيدة النساء العالمين. السلام عليك يا حسن بن مصطفى. السلام عليك يا حسين الشهيد بكربلاء. السلام عليك يا سلطان أبا الحسن علي بن موسى الرضا ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام عليك يا صاحب الزمان الأمان من الزمان. السلام عليك يا شريك القرآن. السلام عليك يا فاتح البرهان. السلام عليك يا مظهر الإيمان. السلام عليك يا إمامنا وإمام الإنس والجان. أجل الله تعالى فرجه، سهل الله تعالى مخرجه وظهوره ورحمة الله وبركاته.
اللهم صل على محمد وعلى محمد.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
اللهم كل وليك حجة ابن الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا حتى تسكنه وأسكت
Thank you very much.
There will be a short Q&A session here if you guys want to stay or if you want to go to the.
Yesterday we checked the contract. One last questions. Put me on the spot. You know this gentleman? Know him? He's
I don't know if he remembers me. I know him from
Asad,
this
right?
area. Yeah. Asad is they are also their parents also from
From India.